Hello, thank you for joining me for another version of Amina's Moment. Of course, this is a little bit longer because this is my podcast. And today we will be diving into depression. So let's go right to it. Let's start with a seed. Any type of seed that you would plant for something to grow. And let's think about this. The seed is planted. There is water that's applied. There's the sunlight. There's the fresh air. There is the right soil, the right environment for that particular seed to grow. So you're expecting that once you plant this seed, that there's going to be growth. That's on the positive side. Let's talk about how depression starts. And this is my opinion. And I really hope that you can get something out of this so you can recognize things early enough that you can prevent them from growing if they're negative in your life. So when I think about a sad moment, very, very simple, just a sad moment. When a person is sad, or how about this? When I am sad, I have to acknowledge that I'm sad. I have to accept that I'm sad. I can't be in denial. I can't say, oh no, I'm not sad, I'm good. Because at that moment that I have stated those words, oh no, I'm not sad, I'm good, I have just placed some water, put that seed in some soil, and it's about to grow. Because now I've really taken that seed of sadness or that feeling, that moment, and I'm just going to let it do whatever it's going to do. Unfortunately, when people are sad, if in fact they don't do anything with those feelings, if they don't acknowledge them, if in fact they do not accept that, wait a minute, something's wrong and I need to do something about it, if they don't handle it in that manner, it will grow. And the sad part is that when that sad feeling grows, it can grow into something that is uncontrollable. So let's think about this. You have a rough day. You are, faced with life, because we all know that life brings challenges. It brings things that sometimes we're not even prepared for, especially during these times when we think about COVID and how things are. Those are feelings that are present in our lives, and we have to do something about it. So if a person is finding themselves sad for the first time, I want to encourage you, do something with that feeling. Talk to someone, because if you don't, that sad feeling sits there and it begins to grow. Now we're talking maybe day 1, day 2, and you're just really not feeling like yourself. I have a situation that's before me right now with our oldest son, and something happened at school and it just broke my heart. And we are, as parents, my husband and I, we are trying to get him to talk about what has taken place and get him out of that feeling of, well, how are you feeling, honey? I don't know. And that body language and the look on his face, that is tearing my mommy heart to shreds, because I know that we have to get him out of this sad space. So back to, you're having maybe a sad day, maybe turns into day 2, you're still dealing with it. And the crazy part about it, sometimes we may find ourselves that we are dealing with that feeling over here, but we almost have to push it to the side so we can get the rest of life going and get things done. That's where it can be very difficult to even address it, because now it's pushed off to the side, because now you have to be that teenager in that classroom. Now you have to be that student athlete on the field. As a parent, now you have to be mommy, you have to be daddy. You're the picker upper when someone has fallen, or you're the one that's making sure that dinner is ready. You're cleaning. That teenager, maybe you have to do your homework. So I don't have time to deal with that sad feeling right now. I'll get to it later. Day 3, we're still in the motions of life. We're trying to deal with it, but then not deal with it. Oh, it's not that bad because you know what? I got to make sure I get this done. I have this assignment due. I have this project due. Whatever it is that life looks like for you, now you've pushed that sad feeling off to the side. It's kind of on the back burner. You know that it's there. You're struggling with those feelings. You're trying to put on a smile. Have you ever smiled and you weren't happy? I have. Or even someone asking you that, you know what, how are you doing today? My immediate response is, oh, I'm fine. How are you? That's not always the truth. Let's just be real. It's not always the truth. So when you are dealing with, let's say, that sad feeling over here, and you're trying to do life, that sad feeling is growing. You're trying to do life. You have not addressed it. You haven't acknowledged it. You haven't even talked about it with anyone. It's growing and you're trying to do life. It's growing and you're trying to do life. So what started out as this small, sad feeling now is growing. And now you may find yourself a little bit more irritated. Someone bumps into you, and any other day prior to that sad moment, you would have been like, oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But now, because you have these feelings on the inside that have not been addressed, now someone bumps into you. What are you doing? Versus, oh, it's okay. No problem. I know it was an accident. Now, when your parents as a teen, they ask you how you're doing, you might snap at them. Why? Because now you have this feeling over here that you have not addressed, you have not acknowledged, and you're not dealing with it. And you're trying to do life. You're trying to do life. It does not work successfully that way. What I'm trying to get each and every one of you to understand is that depression does not happen overnight. You don't go to sleep one day, wake up and realize, what in the world? I'm depressed. Absolutely not. It has to start from some place that is not a happy place. No one is depressed and they're happy at the same time. Think about that. No one is depressed and genuinely happy at the same time. When you have a sad feeling and you are trying to live life, there is that moment that you will have to come to and say, I have to pause. And I need to address this sad feeling. I need to address what is it that took place? What pain, emotion, what was the hurtful situation that took place that caused me to feel like this? And if you find out that place, then you're able to take that place and address it. So let's just say that there was something that happened as a teen between you and your parents, and you just really did not talk about it. You have to say something. Do not hold this stuff in. The more you hold it in, the worse it can actually be for you, and it's going to grow. It's going to grow. And now, if something else happens, that thing that's growing, now you put something else on top of it, that's now going to grow. So now you're not just maybe sad and maybe you just don't want to get out of bed, or you don't want to, how do I say this? Like interact with your friends. You're finding yourself being distant and you don't really want to deal with life. Like, no, I don't want to go. Well, you normally go to those things. I'm just not in the mood this time. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have bad days. I know that I have bad days, but those bad days don't last day after day after day after day. And when you recognize that I'm noticing I'm not doing things the same way. I am not responding the same way. And you might even have someone in your life that may ask you, is everything okay? What's going on? You seem a little different. If you have people asking you questions like that, it may be because you are dealing with something and you don't know how to handle it. I know that everyone that's watching may not have someone that they can confide in. Not crazy. I know that that's a possibility. But I do know the importance of communicating and expressing your feelings. Your feelings are valid. Whether I agree with them, whether you or maybe the person next to you or whoever's around you, and if they don't agree with your feelings, oh well, your feelings are valid. In the position of life, if I don't feel like that, oh, wait a minute, I don't know if I like this, that's my decision not to really like something. Everybody is not going to like you. Everybody is not going to like me. And I know they don't, but I have to be okay with that. So every situation that we come across, everything that we're dealing with, we must deal with the feelings that come along with that. So getting back to that sad feeling, you have to be able to get it out. You have to get it out. The more you hold it in, the more it grows, the more, you're feeling bad, the more it's affecting your health, all of these things. There's clinical depression, there's bipolar depression, there's postpartum depression for my new moms. All of these things are real. And the reason they're real is because your feelings are real. Do not ever, and I mean ever, let anybody tell you that you should not feel that way. How do you tell your feelings? Okay, I kind of need you not to exist today. Do you have that kind of control that you can say, oh, you know what? I know that it hurt, but I have to make sure it doesn't hurt. Oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. If you can do that, I need you to contact me and tell me how you do it. How do you turn feelings on and off? It doesn't work that way. So this particular moment, this particular Amina's moment, it's all about the beginning of depression, that sad feeling. You have to do something with that feeling. Don't let it sit there. It will grow. Don't let it sit there. It's going to get bigger. Oh my goodness, it's going to get bigger and you may not be able to control it. Let's fast forward. If you never ever addressed that sad feeling, day after day after day, now we're looking at a week. Life happens. Maybe something else comes along that, you know what? Oh, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm sad. I'm not feeling like myself. Going into week 2, we're talking about a period of time that is developed that you are not okay. This must be identified and it must be addressed. You have to address it, especially my teens that are watching. Please talk to someone, because that simple, sad feeling could turn into a more complex suicide attempt. People just don't wake up and say, I think I'm going to commit suicide today. Absolutely not. It starts from some place. Whether it be that sad feeling, whether you feel like no one is supporting you and it again grows, whatever that initial feeling is, it started from somewhere. And I don't want to see our teens continuing to feel hopeless. I don't want you guys to feel like I can't do anything else. It's too much. I just got to get out of here. No, you don't have to do that. So what am I saying? Identify those feelings and talk to someone. I am begging you. Do not hold it in. Talk to someone. Do not turn to drugs, alcohol, any other substance. Talk to someone. Get those feelings out and work through them. Work through them. Don't give up. This is not the end, and it doesn't have to be the end for you. This is just the beginning. I'm going to continue with this discussion next week. We're going to dive in a little bit deeper because, again, that seed has to be addressed before it turns into depression. Before depression turns into other thoughts. I don't want another teen to commit suicide. I wish I had the power to make that happen, but I don't. But I can sure help if I can. I can sure let you know that someone will be there for you. I wish I could just make that happen, but you know what? I'm a realist, and I know that I can't make that happen. This is Aamina. This is who I am. You get to hear my heart, and I want you to join me next time because we're going to continue with this particular discussion. Please, please, please talk to someone. Thank you for joining me for another Amina's Moment.